Okay, let's try something. Imagine just for a second, you could live forever. Not just, a long life, but centuries. Watching history unfold, seeing everything change, everyone you care about, eventually gone. Or maybe an unbearable weight. And what if that forever wasn't actually forever? What if it could just stop without any warning? Today, we're doing a deep dive into something really extraordinary. We're looking at a hidden group, ancient warriors, really, who've been around for millennia, living in the shadows, but definitely shaping events. So the core group, this team, you've got Andromache, the Scythian, everyone just calls her Andy, which feels inadequate somehow, given her history.
Right. And alongside her, there's Booker, Joe, and Nikki, the four of them.
Huh.
They're not just colleagues. They're immortals, assassins, operating completely off the grid for centuries. Keeping their existence totally secret is like job one.
They have to be experts at disappearing, right? Leaving no trace.
Absolutely. And understanding their immortality is key. They heal incredibly fast. We're talking wounds that would kill anyone else. Gone in moments, pushing bullets out of their own bodies. It makes them seem unstoppable.
But there's a catch, isn't there?
A huge one. And it's terrifying, really. They have no idea when it might just stop working. Their healing ability could vanish, just like that.
Wow.
Yeah. They know it happened to one of them centuries ago.
Yeah.
One day, his wounds just didn't heal. So this incredible power comes with this constant looming uncertainty, a potential end hanging over every single moment.
And we see that uncertainty crash into reality pretty quickly. They're on a mission, South Sudan, set up by this ex-CIA guy, James Copley. Seems straightforward.
Right, taking out some militia. But it's a setup, a trap.
They get ambushed.
Mowed down completely. Looks like the end.
Yeah.
But then they heal. Push out the bullets, get back up. It's an incredible display of their power.
But it's also how their secret gets exposed, right?
All right. Exactly. They find a hidden camera. Copley wasn't trying to kill them permanently. He was trying to prove what they are, to expose them. Suddenly, the game changes completely.
So Andy and the team, they're dealing with this massive betrayal, hunting for Copley, and then something else happens.
Yeah, a whole new element enters the picture. Halfway around the world, Afghanistan, a U.S. Marine, Niall Freeman.
The new one.
The new one. She's on a mission, gets her throat slashed, looks fatal. Everyone thinks she's dead.
But she's not.
Nope.
Yep.
The wound just heals completely. No scar, nothing. Right in front of her squad. Imagine seeing that. Just impossible.
And the others, the original team, they know this happened.
How? That's the really unique part. When Niall heals, the other four, Andy, Booker, Joe, Nikki, they all experience this shared vision. Like a dream, but vivid, undeniable.
A signal.
A signal. It means there's another one, a new immortal. And this is so huge, it basically overrides everything else. Finding Copley, that gets put on hold.
They have to find her first.
They have to find her. It shows you how important their connection is, their responsibility to each other, to their kind.
So Andy finds Niall. And the introduction isn't exactly gentle, is it?
No, not even close. Andy tracks her down, takes out her guards, and then, just to make the point crystal clear, shoots her, point blank, in the head. Niall's been thinking maybe it was a dream, maybe she's losing her mind.
But seeing a bullet push out of your own skull probably clears things up.
Pretty much. The denial shatters. She can't die. She tries to fight back, tries to escape, even ties Andy up on a plane. But Andy, well, she's been doing this for millennia. She handles it.
It's brutal, but maybe necessary to force her to accept this new reality.
You could say that. It's a shocking welcome. Like, okay, kid, the rules you knew, forget them. Life and death just got rewritten for you.
And Niall stepping into this group that has seen, well, everything.
Everything. Millennia of history. They haven't just witnessed it. They've often been in it. Ancient battles, empires rising and falling, revolutions, wars. Think about the sheer volume of experience in that small group.
It's mind-boggling. They're like living history books.
Exactly. Carrying all that weight, the good and the bad, what does that do to you over centuries? The wisdom, sure, but also the cynicism, the detachment.
And the pain. There's got to be incredible pain, loss. Which brings us to Quinn.
Quinn, yes. Andy's first companion. Their story is horrific, truly horrific.
They were captured centuries ago.
Yes, exposed.
Yeah.
And people back then, terrified, superstitious, they saw them as monsters. So Quinn was, well, she was killed over and over as some kind of awful spectacle.
That's horrible.
And it gets worse. They trapped her in an iron coffin, like an Iron Maiden, but sealed, and threw her into the sea.
Oh my God.
So she's trapped, drowning constantly, healing only to drown again for 500 years.
500 years of drowning.
Conscious, unable to die, unable to escape. It's immortality as the ultimate torture, just unimaginable torment forever.
And Niall, she feels this somehow.
Yes. She gets these flashes, these visions, feels Quinn's suffering directly. It's not just a story from the past for her. It's visceral, agonizing.
Wow.
It really hammers home the psychological cost. What happens when trauma isn't just something you survive, but something you relive perpetually? Can you ever escape that kind of history, especially when it belongs to someone you're connected to?
And it's not just ancient history causing pain. You mentioned Booker.
Booker, yeah. He carries this profound sadness from outliving all his children, multiple times probably. Imagine that cycle of grief, generation after generation.
And Niall herself hesitates, right? Thinking about her own family.
Definitely. She thinks about the pain her family went through when her father died, the idea of putting them through that loss again with her, or worse, watching them all die while she just keeps living. It's a heavy burden to accept. It makes you ask, if this endless life comes with endless loss, is it really worth it?
Which leads us to the people who don't see it as a burden, but as a resource.
Exactly. The threat of exploitation. Enter Merrick, pharmaceutical CEO, big ambitions.
He wants to capture them, study them.
He wants their biology. He talks about saving lives, curing disease. But really, it's about power, money, scientific glory for him. He needs proof. Physical proof, and he'll do anything to get it. He's the dark side of progress, maybe. Using power for selfish gain.
And he doesn't waste time. His mercs hit their safe house.
Yeah, big assault. Booker gets taken down, and importantly, someone notices his wounds are healing.
Yeah.
Slower than usual. A little detail, but ominous.
And Joe and Nikki.
They get captured. And Merrick, starts his research immediately, repeatedly stabbing Joe, trying to force the healing, understand it. It's cruel, clinical torture.
Just awful. But there's that moment, right, when they ask Joe about Nikki.
Yeah, a powerful moment. Amidst all that horror, they ask Joe, who's the guy, your boyfriend? And Joe just unleashes this incredible speech. He says, Nikki is everything. More than a boyfriend. More than anything describable in simple terms. It's this raw declaration of love, of a bond built over centuries. A reminder that even in the worst circumstances, that connection endures, maybe even deepens.
But then comes the betrayal. The real one.
The gut punch. Booker. It turns out he made a deal with Copley, with Merrick.
Why? Why would he do that?
It's complicated. It's not pure evil. It's weariness. He's just tired of living forever, tired of the loss. He actually hopes Merrick can find a way to end it, to make them mortal again, peacefully.
He wants out.
He desperately wants out. And seeing Andy maybe healing slower, that probably reinforces feeling that maybe an end is possible, maybe even coming. It's a betrayal born out of deep despair, really. Heartbreaking in a way.
But Niall doesn't accept it. She figures it out.
She finds an empty gun clip, realizes Booker must have deliberately given Andy an empty weapon right before he shot her. The deception is clear, and that's her turning point.
She decides to go back.
Yeah. No more running. She confronts Copley. And Copley, he's seen Merrick's true colors by now. The cruelty, he has a change of heart. He agrees to help Niall.
What changed his mind? Just seeing Merrick's methods?
That, but also something else. We find out Copley wasn't just tracking the Immortals for Merrick. He was also documenting their impact. All the good they'd done throughout history, often secretly. Saving lives, stopping disasters.
So he saw they were heroes.
He had proof. A whole database of it. And seeing Merrick's depravity versus their history of heroism, it forces him to choose a side. He chooses to help them.
Okay, so Niall and Copley team up, the rescue mission.
Right. They infiltrate Merrick's high-tech building, fight their way through his security. It's intense. They manage to free Joe and Nikki.
And then the final showdown with Merrick.
Andy decides they can't just leave. Merrick needs to be stopped. Permanently.
And she takes him on.
She lands a heavy blow with her axe. Then, as Merrick tries to fight back, Niall tackles him.
Out the window.
Out the window. They both fall, crash onto a car below. Merrick. Well, it's the definitive end for him. Messy.
And Niall.
She heals. Fast. Proof of her power. And interestingly, Andy's own healing seems to return to normal speed afterwards. Maybe the stress, the betrayal had temporarily affected it, but now balance seems restored.
So Merrick's gone. What happens next for Niall?
Copley handles it smartly. Officially, Niall Freeman is listed as killed in action in Afghanistan.
So her family gets closure.
Exactly. They mourn her, like they mourned her father. It lets her step into her new life fully without the burden of hiding from them or causing them constant worry. It's a sad solution, but maybe the kindest one.
And Booker. What about his betrayal?
The team makes a hard decision.
Yeah.
Exile. For a century.
100 years. Alone.
Alone. It's their code. Betrayal has consequences, severe ones. It's a long, lonely road for him to walk. justice, even among immortals.
But the rest of the team, they move forward. With Copley now?
Yes. They decide to work with him, use his resources, his intel network, to help them stay hidden and continue their mission, protecting people from the shadows. They adapt, evolve, still protectors, but now with a modern edge.
So it seems like things are settling into a new normal.
You'd think so. But then, 6 months later, Booker, he's in Paris, starting his long exile, and he gets a visitor.
Oh no, don't tell me.
Quinn,
The one trapped in the ocean for 500 years.
Yeah.
She's out.
She's out, standing right there. Somehow, impossibly, she escaped that underwater coffin.
How is that even possible? What does that mean?
Exactly. Huge questions. How did she survive? How did she get free? And maybe the biggest question, what is she like now after 500 years of that? Is she seeking revenge? Reunion? Something else entirely? It just blows everything wide open again.
Wow, what a roller coaster.